There are a lot of different types of IP complaints on Amazon, 5 specifically, where you're going to have your trademark, you're going to have copyright, you're going to have your patent, and patent has two different kinds, utility and design even. So, specifically, we're going to be talking about patent claims and what to do if you have an IP patent claim against you. How do you even actually know if one comes up against you, and what do you do in the circumstance that it does? Well, first, let's talk a little bit about what type of patents you can have. So, specifically, you can have a utility or a design patent. So these two patents are very, very different, and you will typically know which kind you are being hit with because it will tell you in the actual listing. So you can see here even a letter D under the patent number. So the actual patent number should have a D in it if it is a design patent of some kind. Now, utility patents, again, essentially say this is how the product actually works, whereas design patents are granted for the look of a certain type of product. So if you have, for instance, a deck of cards that has a patent, this background for the deck of cards would be a design type patent, whereas how the cards actually, let's say, shuffle would be a utility patent. So, with that out of the way, how do you actually know what a patent is and what it covers? Well, typically speaking, when Amazon hits you with a patent claim such as this one, what they'll do here is you can see a couple of things. They'll give you the ASINs that they have removed, what the reason behind them are. I've removed them from here just for an anonymity's purpose. And then the IP asserted. You'll be able to take this IP asserted number, and very easily what you can do is head on over to Google Patents. So patents.google.com. You can put the IP number in here and you can look at the patent of any single product if you have the patent number. So this is absolutely where you should go to understand, is this even a claim worth worrying about? Is this a claim that has any merit whatsoever? How much should you really be worried? Are you actually breaking someone's patent? This is the area where you would go to read through it and understand it. Now, one of the first things that I'm always going to recommend when this happens is consulting a patent attorney. The reason for that we'll get to here in a second, but specifically, they are going to know the best course of action for a majority of things. But what do we do on the Amazon side? Well, Amazon gives you a few things. How do I reactivate my listings? You have a couple of different options here. First one being a court order stating you are allowed to sell the products and hence are not violating Amazon policy for each of the listing mentioned deactivation notification. Now, this essentially means that if you are currently or going to sue the patent holder saying that they are infringing in your patent in some way, shape, or form, vice versa, then you can have a court order that states your product does not infringe upon X patent. And this is what you could use to tell Amazon, hey, sorry, this is not the case. Secondarily to this would be a letter of non-infringement from legal counsel. This is, again, why you want to have a patent attorney. They will know whether or not, just from looking at the patent and your product very, very quickly, whether your product breaks any form of patent. Again, if it's a design patent, they'll be able to, usually determine that. And for a utility patent, it's usually a little bit easier and less subjective for a utility patent than it is for a design patent. Now, next we have work directly with the rights owner who reported the violation to submit a retraction. This is usually going to be the fastest way to do it. Now, what I would typically recommend people to do is twofold. Contact a patent attorney as soon as you get this to have them review the patent, review the claim, and have them draft a letter of non-infringement. That is the first thing that you should do. Secondarily, you'll notice that they give the owner name and email for whoever the patent holder is that submitted this claim. I would have the letter of non-infringement come from the legal counsel, and we'll submit that direct to Amazon. And then secondarily, have a drafted letter sent to the actual rights owner, especially if it is a situation where the patent claim is just false in any way, shape, or form. And if it is true, and you are in some way, shape, or form breaking a patent, unfortunately, that's where you're going to have to go with option 3 here, more than likely, of an actual court order. And that's where you would have to take things off Amazon into the legal world. It's not where you're going to be able to, utilize Apex in any way, which is actually for the patent holder. You're actually just going to have to go into the actual court system to deal with this. Now, let's say you submit this letter of non-infringement from legal counsel, which we did over here. It's going to give us essentially verbatim typical Amazon response. they're essentially then going to want to send more documentation. Again, they're going to ask for the court order. They're going to ask for the legal counsel again, even though you already sent it, and to work directly with the actual rights owner. Now, if you're dealing with this type of situation and you know for a fact that you are not breaking the patent and you are working with a patent attorney, that is the end all be all best option you can have. It is very, very common for people on Amazon to just submit patent copyright infringements in some way, shape, or form. So, what I'm always going to make as a suggestion, work with a patent attorney on these. Make sure you draft a letter making sure it touches on the specific points of the patent. And worst of all, if you really have to, you have to end up going to court. But if you are on the other side of this and you have your own patent and someone's infringing, there's a couple options for you. Luckily, you can submit something like this, or there is a program called Apex. Amazon's Apex program is through the brand registry system, and what you can do is you put up $4,000. You have the person that is infringing put 4,000, and Amazon has a third-party evaluator decide if it's actual infringement. If you believe someone actually is, I think most all patents really should just go through the Apex program. However, patents or for Apex, it has to be a utility patent, can't be a design. Again, a little too subjective. That's why that has to go to the courts. So, worst case scenario, if this happens to you, just make sure to reach out to a patent attorney very quickly. They'll be able to very quickly help you and assess whether or not your product breaks any form of patent. And if it doesn't, they'll also be able to get you a letter very quickly as well.